there, guys? It's your boy, Ivan Kaiju Studios. Okay, now, in today's video, I will be giving you all my top 5 albums of 2020 so far, this year, And, I mean, we have had a lot of good music this year, from January to July, there's been some really good music and then some bad music, like some bad albums, and some really good albums. And so I have my top 5 best albums of 2020s so far mid-year. Before I give y'all my top 5 albums of 2020, I just want to say that I really I've been doing a few album reviews on my channel, But the reason why I've only done a few was because you see I only I only know about album reactions and reviews since last year, and it's how did I not know about this before? Because people have been doing people on YouTube have been doing album reactions and reviews for years now, And if I don't give y'all an album reaction, I'll give y'all an album review, because I know how YouTube works, and because YouTube claims music on YouTube, and so like I said, if I don't give y'all my album reaction, then I'll give y'all my album reviews, And with that being said, I have the top 5 albums, hip hop albums of 2020 so far this year. That's the top 5 hip hop albums of 2020 so far. But let me tell y'all something, man. This list was really hard to do, cause again, like I said, there's been a lot of good music and albums this year, and so when I was writing down my list, I was like, man, what can I put on here? It was hard, very hard, So with that being said, I'm gonna give y'all my top 5 album review. The best top 5 hip hop albums of 2020 so far. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, number 5, I got Boldy, James, and Alchemist, The Price of Tea in China. Bro, let me tell y'all, this album, The Price of Tea in China, this album is very underrated. Okay, really underrated, and it's a shame because this album is really good. It's got dope beats by Alchemist, and amazing lyricism by Boldy James, and and the features on here, they've done excellent on this project, So man, if y'all haven't listened to this album, The Price of Tea in China, then why don't you go ahead and give it a listen, I think you might like it. Number four, I got Run the Jewels 4 by Run the Jewels. But this album was necessary for what's been happening, since May, with the whole George Floyd thing and all that stuff, And man, it's again another dope album, I've listened to it, more than twice, Yeah, man, this album is just, album of the year, Killer Mike and LP, they, both of them, they did their thing on here, And then, the whole group, Run the Jewels, did their thing on here too. I haven't listened to their past albums, in the past, but I will, after I, do this video, So number three, I have The Weeknd, After Hours. Right, look, I don't tell y'all. So Like when I was first listening to this album, like I really wasn't like feeling it that much, you know. Like I really wasn't feeling it, and so you know after giving this album a few listens, you know, over and over and over again, I was like, bruh, this is album of the year, you know. This album, After Hours, is album of the year, you know. Yeah, man, and The Weeknd, you know, does his thing on here, you know. I think the first time I heard about The Weeknd was like in 2015, I believe. Yeah, I think it was 2015 um, when he had did that song for the 50 Shades of Grey soundtrack, you know. If y'all haven't listened to After Hours, then give After Hours a listen, okay? Number two, number two, the best hip hop album of 2020 so far this year. Number two, I have Eminem, Music to Be Murdered By. But this album, alright, and look, I'll admit, okay, I'll admit that when I first heard this album, I was like, bro, what is Eminem doing with this album? You know, and I thought his album Kamikaze, like that was dope. Yeah, Kamikaze was dope. A dope album, like best album of 2018. You know, and Revival. I mean, it was that. It was alright. You know, it was alright. Revival was alright. You know, now I don't go back to Revival that much, cause you know it was like you know it was alright. You know, so. To me, it was that album was alright. It wasn't like you know the worst album of 2017, you know, or none of that stuff, you know. But I mean, you know, it was an okay album, you know. Juice WRLD does his thing on here. Juice WRLD is featured on this album. Give Music to Be Murdered by Eminem a listen. And last but not least, number one, the best number one hip hop album of 2020 this far is, drumroll please, Alfredo by Freddie Gibbs and the Alchemist. Now look, this album, like, bruh, I actually had to like give this album a few listens because you know I know how Alchemist like music, like his beats or on like whenever Alchemist comes out with a project, you know, I know how like he has like those slow like beats, but he also has like those like sometimes he has like those like drag beats, if you know what I'm saying, you know. But yeah, Alfredo, bro, this album like, and this is another album that's like up there with Run the Jewels 4 because you know, Freddie Gibbs, he talks about like the whole like, you know, my execution may be televised, you know, and all that stuff. That's, you know, that's great, which is dope for what's happening, you know, right now, you know, with the whole George Floyd thing, you know. Man, that Frank Lucas, that shit was just fire, bruh. And Benny the Butcher, you know, Benny the Butcher does his thing on that track, you know. I actually couldn't like pick out my favorite tracks on his album because like the album was just that good, you know. Alfredo. If you haven't listened to Alfredo by Freddie Gibbs and Alchemist, then why don't you go ahead and give it a listen? You might like it. Yeah. So anyway, man, those were my top five albums of 2020 this far. I'll also be doing like a video for the top 10 like albums of 2020. You know, once December comes around. You know, if you enjoyed this video, give this video a like. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys at the next video. Alright, peace.